My objective is to get the total cost per item per branch based on this table. Now, before we start with the formula, we can implement name manager in this setup to simplify the data inside Sumifs equation. To start with, let me highlight cell B3 to B10. Let me go to the name box and type items. Press enter. Next, let me highlight C3 to C10 and name it as branch. Press enter. Next, let me highlight the last column cost, name it as cost, and press enter. Every time you use the name manager, make sure that you press enter. Now, if I need to get the total sum of cost per item per branch, you can simply type equal sum ifs. All right. Sum ifs contains a maximum of 127 criteria. It begins with a sum range as part of the equation. So sum range means the cost, all right? The total cost. That means it will highlight all the numbers, the number of cost in this table. Next, for criteria range number 1, this is the beginning of the first criteria on your sum ifs. Criteria range number 1 is referring to items, comma, click on the cell that contains laptop for criteria number 1. However, the data is displayed in column F in columnar manner. So in order to fix the attention of the formula in that column, let me add $sign before letter F. Next, let me add in criteria range number 2. Criteria range number 2 is branch, comma, specific branch that I want to include is Manila. That is on cell G2. Manila, Cebu, Davao in this table is positioned horizontally. If I need my formula to fix the attention in horizontal manner, let me add $sign before the number. If you will not add $sign before F or after letter G, all right, there will be a problem later on because cell reference is moving as you try to drag the formula in different places. So much better you have it. Why do we add $sign before F? The reason is laptop, phone, and tablet is positioned vertically. All of them is available in column F. Why do we add $sign before number 2 on cell G2? Because Manila, Cebu, and Davao is positioned horizontally. Alright, that's why I added $sign on row number 2. So if you're done, press enter, autofill. Now, in this report, it simplifies the output on our raw data. Alright, as you can see, we don't have any transaction in Manila with tablet item, right? In Cebu, laptop. In Davao, that is phone. All of them are zeros. You can try to check that in this table. All of them are not existing. That's the advantage of using sum ifs in Excel. Let me give you one more set of example. Let's go to example number 2. For example number 2, this time I added a transaction date. How can we do sum ifs with date filter? My objective is to get the total amount of cost per item per branch based on, let's say, first quarter of 2021. All right, so how do we do that? Before anything else, let me add name manager in the data. So let me highlight B3 to B10. Let's name it as IT. IT, short for items. Let me highlight C3 to C10. Let me name this as BR. Let me highlight D3 up to D10. Let's name this as TD, short for transaction date. And last, for E3 to E10, let's name this as CO. All right, I used abbreviations because in Microsoft Excel, name managers that you created, existing name managers that you created, cannot be used as part of other names. So for example, I highlighted items. You'll notice I used IT because items is already available. All right. If I try to highlight this and type the word items and press enter, you'll notice currently I'm in example 2. If I press enter, it will move me to example 1 where items is existing. So make sure that you don't repeat names, all right? Especially if the names are existing. Now moving on, for the formula, let me type in equal sumifs, open parenthesis. So range, we have C, CO, comma. For the criteria ranged 1, we need item, that's IT. Criteria 1 is laptop. Add $sign before letter G, comma. Next, criteria range 2. Criteria range 2 is BR. All right. And then comma. Okay. The last one is Manila, H2. Let me add $sign before number 2. In the meantime, let me stick with this one. This is our example earlier. Let me do autofill and just check if they have similar in output. So going back, example 1, example 2. All right, so far we have the same output. Now the difference in example 2, this time, I need to add a date or cut off of transaction report. Let's say we're just talking about first quarter total cost. Let me add here greater than or equal to January 1, 2021. Over here, let me add March 1, 20, March 31, 2021. Okay, before I continue, let me add here a name on cell H7. This is start. On cell H8, this is end. If you need to add date filters inside SUMIF, you can provide first name managers. It's talking about start or end date. We can use this as part of the cutoff. Now for the formula, all you need to do is to add criteria range number 3 and 4. Okay, for criteria range number 3, that is IT or items, comma, sorry, not IT, TD or transaction date, comma, start, comma, TD, and then comma, end. All right, so I have here TD or transaction date for the start and transaction date for end. What will happen this time, some ifs will filter the output of your data based on the first quarter report. Let me see that. Press enter, autofill. All right. What you can see here now is the actual data that we have inside this table. So according to that, we have 1,000 on laptop, 2,000 on phone, and 3,000 on tablet. That is what we have for first quarter. If you want to change the output of some ifs, you can simply change this to, let's say, April 1 for the start date, and then June 30 for the end date. All right, that's the second quarter report. If you need to display the annual report, you can always go back to this cell, change this to January 1, 2021, and this is December 31, 2021. And it will display the annual report of your raw data. And by the way, you don't need to sort this table. The most important thing is you name it first before we can use that in our Excel formula. If you have any changes that you want to modify on the side of the name manager, you can always go back to Formulas tab and click the name manager button. On the name manager button, you can edit all existing names that you created within the same file. When you click edit, you can change the name of that column or you can change the refers to area. All right? Especially we can use this if in the future your data is increasing and you want to use the same formula. So the adjustment is not on the side of the formula, but on the side of the data source through name manager. Okay, so that's it for Sumifs function.